Tonight on KGW News.
You can't be up here.
How a couple climbed to the top of one of America's most recognizable landmarks.
It looks like the man is he proposing to her?
Plus, a mother looking for answers.
And I immediately knew in my gut that something was wrong.
And grieving her son after he was hit and killed while training for a triathlon.
I've jumped this concrete wall at least 8 times over the years to respond to accidents.
Then, why first responders were back at the Longview paper mill just weeks after the chemical tank disaster.
Well, we're just grateful that it wasn't serious.
But first, the Rose City celebrates a win for the nation.
This is the best U.S. team I've seen in years. We're scoring goals, and we're the host nation. It's such a good vibe.
Such a good vibe. Let's begin with that historic World Cup win. Only the third time ever the U.S. men's team has won a knockout game, and the last one more than 2 decades ago. The crew now setting its sights on Monday here, the round of 16, with a face-off, it turns out, at Seattle Stadium, of all places. We're glad you're with us tonight. I'm David Molko. The victory over Bosnia and Herzegovina perhaps made even more impressive, with the Americans playing a man down for about half the match, though fans also had to wait for the first goal, some 45 minutes, nearly the entire first half. Folarin Balogun scoring that one, though the refs later ejected him for a controversial foul. Then, in the 82nd minute, Malik Tillman locking in the win with a beautiful free kick. Looking at tears over there. Brings us to the fans watching that roller coaster of a match unfold. Catherine Cook was alongside some of them tonight. I mean, talk to me about the vibes, Catherine.
David, let's talk about emotions. So many emotions, from nervous angst to brash elation, and now eager anticipation, knowing the USA is still in it.
Cheers of World Cup victory and giddy relief as the United States defeated Bosnia and Herzegovina Wednesday night.
Go USA!
Punching their ticket to the round of 16.
That was awesome. I love being in the environment. I need the crowd around me. It's so exciting.
It was standing room only at Goal PDX on Southeast Hawthorne. The crowd spilling into the street, thrilled to take it all in.
This is the best U.S. team I've seen in years. We're scoring goals, and we're the host nation. It's such a good vibe. I mean, look around us. I mean, there's kind of a fever pitch.
They knew it was win or go home for the USA. They needed something more than rose-colored glasses, and they needed props.
It is the FIFA World Cup match ball, and I have one. And if I could, I'd kick it in the net, but the boys will do it for us.
And do it they did. 45 minutes in, it was Folarin Balogun with the goal, and in the 82nd minute, a free kick by Malik Tillman into the net.
It was great. The first goal was for Bosnia, second goal was for Herzegovina.
Something for everyone.
Oh, much fun was had tonight, and the fun continues Monday when the U.S. takes on Belgium up in Seattle. The Portland Timbers announced tonight they're going to host a watch party at Providence Park. Admission is free, but you do need a ticket, David.
Sounds good. Bring a picnic blanket and you can kick the ball around on the pitch there as well. Thanks, Catherine. Great vibe. So here we go with the U.S. set to face Belgium after that team managed a massive come-from-behind victory over Senegal, the West African nation, with a decisive 2-point lead as Belgium struggled to find its footing. It was until the 86th minute when a Belgian goal hit the back of a net, followed by a second just 3 minutes later. Bet they are ecstatic. It set the game into extra time, followed by a winning Belgian goal with just minutes to spare. Final score 3-2. It is now on to the round of 16 after the holiday weekend. The U.S. men versus Belgium kick off Monday at 5 Pacific, as we said, in the Emerald City. Lucky them. All right, though, before we get to that, we have a holiday weekend. If you have been missing the sunshine, yeah, we saw a peak before sunset tonight, then you might like what's coming our way. And Matt, we've been talking about how the forecast really could not be better.
Yeah, it's really great out there. Even tonight, even today with the cloud cover, very, very pleasant. We're at 60 degrees right now. It's still mainly clear. It'll cloud over towards morning, but not a big deal. It'll burn off, and it'll burn off a little bit more quickly tomorrow compared to the last couple of days. So we'll call it tomorrow partly sunny. Then it becomes sunny on Friday, and once the clouds clear, they pretty much clear for good, at least through the weekend into the first half of next week. That sets us up for a warm and really pleasant holiday weekend. And then if you're already thinking about Saturday night getting out for the fireworks, we're going to have a clear sky. And tried to do a blue moon, a white moon, and a red moon. Didn't really work out, but nonetheless, you get the idea. 64 at 8 o'clock, 61 at 9 o'clock, and by 10 o'clock down to about 58. And 9, 10 o'clock is when the most fireworks get going here in the Northwest, with sunset being at 9:03. Speaking of sunset, we had a great one tonight. We'll show you the rest of that in a bit, David.
Hey, red, white, and blue gets an A for effort. Thanks, Matt. New at 11, the driver accused of hitting and killing a Hillsborough teenager who was riding his bike appeared in court today to plead not guilty to charges that include manslaughter. Alma McCarty spoke with the victim's mother, who is both grieving and hoping for some sort of change.
And I immediately knew in my gut that something was wrong.
A feeling Charlie Navarro got when her son, Connor, didn't come home.
There was a barricade and my heart kind of sank.
19-year-old Connor had been out riding his bike, training for an upcoming triathlon. Before 9 p.m. on June 23rd, he was crossing over East Main Street at Northeast Century Boulevard when a driver, authorities say, ran a red light, hitting him. Officers arrested Salvador Guillen Contreras on charges of manslaughter and reckless driving. He's pleaded not guilty. Hillsborough police believe speed was a factor.
Sounds like from witnesses he died instantly.
I've jumped this concrete wall at least 8 times over the years to respond to accidents.
And that night, neighbor Matt Ellenberger did that again.
This is unfortunately the first time that I wasn't able to help, and it's a bit of a heart-wrenching feeling that you can't do anything.
A week later, flowers, candles, and cards.
And he had really big dreams and hopes and was planning to do really great things, not just for his life, but for the world and the community, and I believe he could have.
His mother calling Connor the glue that held their family together.
We lost his dad a year and a half ago to cancer. I'm just taking it moment by moment. A lot of times it doesn't feel real still. It feels like he's gonna walk through the door any minute.
Now, both Charlie and her neighbors plan to attend a city council meeting next week to bring up the concerns about this road, which has a 40-mile-per-hour speed limit. Hillsborough police can't comment on the investigation into this crash and at this time couldn't give us specifics about this intersection. David?
One mother going through so much. Alma McCarty in the newsroom. Thanks, Alma. Developing this evening, an active duty member of the Navy arrested and charged with raping 2 teenage girls appeared today before a Clark County judge. 20-year-old Andrew Guerrero is charged with child rape and trafficking. Vancouver police say he met a 13-year-old girl and a 16-year-old girl on Snapchat, then had sex with them, even paying for a ride share to bring them to his Vancouver hotel from Kelso. Both ended up living with him in his hotel room for a couple months. Court documents show authorities were eventually tipped off.
Parents, especially with school being out, it's really important that you know what your kids are doing online when you're not there. And even when you are there, it's not about spying on your kids. It's about keeping them safe because online predators are real.
Guerrero pleaded not guilty and is set to return to court later this month. The Navy said it is aware and cooperating, citing a zero tolerance policy for sexual misconduct. The teenagers are now in protective custody. A reminder, if you or someone you know is a sexual assault survivor, help is available 24/7. One place to start, the National Sexual Assault Hotline. The number is 800-656-4673. To get you caught up on tonight's other headlines now, the former owner of a North Portland convenience store is headed to prison after pleading guilty to drug trafficking. 44-year-old Donald Sharmo sentenced to 13 months on 1 count of heroin delivery. Court documents say a search of the Stop and Go Mini Mart in March of last year turned up more than 100 grams of cocaine, heroin, meth, and nearly 900 fentanyl pills. Prosecutors say the store contributed drug activity and violence in and around Dawson Park.
The community saw what was going on and they said something about it and got the law enforcement involved, got PPB involved.
Sharmo will be sentenced at a later date on a charge involving fentanyl distribution. He's set to report to prison in October. In Clackamas County, a judge sentenced a former Gladstone police officer to 20 years in prison for his role in the death of his wife. Blake Benton, who changed his first name from Lynn in 2024, pleaded guilty and made a first-degree manslaughter. Prosecutors say Benton conspired with 2 others to kill his estranged wife, Debbie Higbee. She was found dead in 2011 inside her Gladstone beauty salon. Benton was originally convicted of murder in 2016, but the Oregon Supreme Court overturned the case. In Longview, emergency crews were back at the same paper mill where 11 men died in a chemical tank blast. It turns out a worker at the Nippon Dynaway paper mill had a medical emergency while operating a forklift this morning. Reports of an overturned acid container and a strong odor upgraded the call to a hazmat response, but thankfully that turned out not to be the case. The worker was taken to the hospital. Meanwhile, when it comes to the last month's chemical tank rupture, we also learned the state attorney general's office is now investigating that alongside federal, state, and local authorities into whether any state laws were violated. And a new interstate bridge over the Columbia has cleared the final major federal hurdle, its environmental review. Up next, putting the I-5 replacement project out for bids with the goal of getting a contractor locked down next year, with construction starting in 2020. That's when tolls will also go up on the existing bridge. The full replacement at last estimate is forecast to cost about $14 billion.